Hey, Hound Dogs, I'm David Hankins.
I'm Paul Hankins.
And you're on the air with Power Squared. This week we're going to talk about San Diego Comic-Con 2023. It's something we've gone to most years, even the at-home versions during the COVID.
Yeah.
But this year it's going to be a little different. There's, if I'm sure you're aware, writer's strike and an actor's strike going on at the time. And so a lot of people will probably not be there this year.
Yeah, and since they announced the SAG strike very recently, we're seeing all cancellations gradually roll in, so things are a little in flux right now.
Right. But as much as Hollywood is really cool part of Comic-Con, it is not the only part of Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things going on at this convention, and so while we'll miss, here are our passes, we're actually going to go. And why we will miss some of that, there's still going to be a lot to do. And my guess is there's going to be a ton of people on the floor.
Yeah.
There's no Hall H stuff, or very little if there's any Hall H.
Yeah.
And a lot of panels have gotten canceled.
And signings.
So there's going to be a lot of people on the floor. So
either they'll be on the floor or they'll like go to the off sites or something.
Now, again, this year there's no carpeting.
Yeah.
So if there's enough people, you can just go step on feet, foot, all the way. No, I'm kidding. But
well, like because it wasn't carpeted last year, the Alex Ross booth was like a relief because it had like this thick carpeting.
Yeah. You look for those places to go hang out.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a different, maybe a different feel in some ways, but it's gonna be the convention I think that we loved going to.
Yeah.
For the most part. So we thought we'd talk a little bit about kind of what we're hoping to do and what our expectations are, and kind of go from there.
Yeah.
So because we're professionals, thanks to Power Squared,
the typical subject of this podcast.
All right. We're going to go to preview night.
Yes.
Which is sort of starts sometime in the afternoon. I'm always a little fishy about when it actually starts.
Yeah.
But you line up in the sales pavilion for a couple of hours usually, waiting for them to let you in.
Yeah.
And it's not too bad. I remember last year it was masks were required, and there were people standing next to us not wearing one.
Yeah.
Which was a little like, hey, get with the program. But none of us caught COVID. And you had to have have a wristband, right, saying that you.
Yeah, that you got was proof of vaccination.
And I had the fun part that it fell off or something. The first day, I went to the restroom and it fell off, and I was like, oh, I found it.
Yeah.
I was able to. I think I had to staple it together because it was falling apart. But it worked.
It somehow managed to last like 4 showers.
Yeah, it was paper too. It wasn't really like.
I wish it was a plastic one like they got at Anime Expo here, but whatever.
So they weren't expecting anybody to take showers, probably. You're up all night gaming and stuff.
Well, nerds don't shower.
That explains the stench. No.
So that was just a terrible joke.
Bad joke. Yeah. So, what are your expectations on preview night? We don't necessarily go to panels on preview night anyway.
No.
Because we're trying to get down on the floor, and there are
exclusives.
That's right.
Yeah, we've made it so on preview night we get a lot of our exclusives out of the way.
Right.
And
what's the exclusive you're looking forward to getting?
I actually don't remember off the top of my head, but we haven't finalized that. It's sort of a wish list at the moment.
Right.
Maybe there's this Invincible variant cover done by Greg Capullo. That'll be at Skybound, which might be cool.
Uh-huh.
Try to get. There's a Yu-Gi-Oh mat.
Right.
I've gotten the Yu-Gi-Oh mat every year for the last few years, maybe feels like decades. Whenever Zexal was.
We're gonna buy like a table mat for gaming.
Yeah. Trevor and I got more into tabletop gaming in the last year or two. So at the Chess 6 booth, we were gonna see if we could get a tabletop mat.
That's not really an exclusive that you're looking forward to, but that's just something we might be getting.
Yeah. Because they're there.
Right.
And there might be we might try to do something at the Dragon Ball offsite.
Okay.
Because we last year for promoting Dragon Ball Superhero, they had these bad ribbons. You had to go to like 4 booths to get 4 of them,
yeah.
and then you had to go to the offsite to get the last one. And we got that out of the way on preview night.
Right.
And that turned out to be good because of how crowded the floor and the Dragon Ball offsite got during the rest of the con.
The downside, it's sort of like it's the next hotel over, but it's kind of like in Vegas where that hotel is pretty far away. We actually have to go out
so close and yet so far.
Yeah. I remember we went to the fulfillment room one time. I was like, God, how far do we have to go?
It's like going to it basically went to a village.
Yeah. So okay, so preview night is exclusives.
Yeah, and asking about certain signings.
Right. Who are you interested in getting signed?
Well, one possibility is at IDW they're going to have a ticketed signing for TMNT The Last Ronin.
Mm-hmm.
I've read The Last Ronin. We have a copy where it's already signed by Tom Waltz and Kevin Eastman. So it would just be getting the other guys
to sign it.
But my main reason for doing that is because Tom Waltz wrote co-wrote Silent Hill Downpour and the Silent Hill Downpour and Story comic. And ever since I played Downpour and read and Story, I've been wanting to get him to sign those.
Okay.
So that's my main motivation.
All right. Yeah, I read Last Ronin too. It was pretty good.
Yeah. Kind of arguably cynical, but still pretty well done.
Yeah, sort of. We don't give any of it away if you haven't read it.
Yeah.
You should. Even if you're not a major TMNT fan.
Yeah.
Probably would still enjoy it. Okay, so we're going to ask about signings, and then we'll eat, and then we're not going to get into everything we do on a personal level.
No.
But then Thursday is when...
I will just say our nights usually involve planning the next day.
Yeah. Yes, they do. Thursday, one of the reasons I like going is to try to hopefully learn more than I obviously don't know about comic books and podcasts and Kickstarters and things like that. So there are a lot of panels that I'm looking forward to going to. But I think there was like one every hour for a while, and I don't know if I can really. We haven't really decided on how we're doing these things, but
or what we're doing, or even if we will be able to do some of them because of the cancellations going on.
Right. Yeah. So I do plan to go to one of the things I've gone to is the how to get news coverage. I've done that every year, and the last couple of years we've actually gotten some news coverage out of it. So hopefully we'll meet somebody there again.
Yeah.
Rick Offenberger does the from First Comic News does the panel, and it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, it has helped us some. Meeting him was one thing, and First Comic News has been nice to us, I'll say.
Yeah.
And we've, as I said, got some press last year. Not that you would notice, but we did get some press.
Yeah.
And then there's ones about, I would like to learn more about doing a good Kickstarter. Not necessarily hearing people's. There's 2 panels about Kickstarters. One is kind of what Kickstarter is hoping to do with comic books, and one is more like I had a success story.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to learn more practical stuff, because a lot of times people's success stories don't necessarily, their opportunities don't necessarily aren't the same as yours.
Yeah.
And so that's the kind of stuff. And there's a I think a panel about podcasting 101. There's even one which I didn't sign up for, is how to start your own comic book channel on YouTube, which I kind of figure we've already done. So it's all just trying to. The idea is that you want people to notice what you're doing and hopefully buy what you're putting out.
Yeah.
That's the little magic trick we haven't figured out.
Yeah, and there are a couple other things that might be interesting, like, although I don't know if we will do it because it was late at night, but
Right.
like lessons on playable video game preservation, which is a real issue with gaming.
Yeah. Wasn't there
Like,
a video that you watched about that?
Yeah, like 87% of classic games are in danger of just going away because of stupid decisions.
Is that because the gaming platforms are failing over time, or is it just the
Well, part of that is bit rot, yes. Bit rot effects, like not just like game cartridges and discs, but also like other disc-based media.
Mhm.
So like eventually with bit rot, some things just won't work anymore. Like I actually remember reading a few months ago, I think, the Video Game History Foundation visited the Game Informer offices so they could preserve the like press material,
Uh-huh.
and there was a certain percentage of it that they couldn't preserve because of bit rot.
Huh. Well, I'm sure that's a real thing.
Yeah.
I mean, can they? Well, this isn't going to turn into a show about preserving video games, but yeah, that's really. I mean, I would imagine they still have the coding or whatever.
Yeah, but then there's also companies like Nintendo preventing people from preserving games and then not offering an alternative of their own.
This is kind of a little bit like old Hollywood.
Yeah.
They kind of didn't think there was value to the film once it was shown in the theaters, because that was it. At 1933, you weren't going to have television sales.
Yeah.
And a lot of people didn't really take good care of it or consider them valuable assets after they were shown.
Yeah.
And so that's why, a big chunk of MGM movies are owned by Warner Brothers, and Paramount's owned by Universal, and because people didn't think ahead. And it sounds a little bit like there's some of that going on in the gaming industry.
Yeah. So that could be interesting.
Yes, it could be.
So then moving on.
And there's some networking things too. I'd like to at least go to one of them, I think.
Yeah. There's still some. Oh yeah, there's also one that was one that I thought might be interesting. That was about physical fitness.
Oh, isn't that because you sit all day? Is that kind of the?
Yeah. There's actually maybe 2 panels that are about physical fitness, and one of them on another day is about like moving around or like exercising to prevent back pain and stuff.
Right. Well, again, there's more to Comic-Con than just feature films.
Yeah.
All right, so as I recall, I had like a whole bunch of things I wanted to do on Thursday. The rest of the week wasn't so much for me. So Friday?
Friday. There's one panel I'm on the fence about, which is about Silent Hill Ascension. One, I love that Konami is actually doing something with Silent Hill again. 2, I don't like the idea of Ascension because it's basically a live stream that can only be experienced once.
Oh.
So it's a game, in quotes, that can only be played once.
That's weird.
Collectively.
Huh.
And once people have made a decision, it's canon forever.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, but I still have it marked.
Okay.
One I might be more interested in is Familiar Faces, which is a the library, so I don't know if I would be able to do it.
What is Familiar Faces?
I forgot the description, but I remember it has Raina Telgemeier, hope I pronounced her name correctly, who is a author that I've grown to like because while reading
Middle fiction,
middle grade work.
Oh, that's good. The library. There's something I wanted to do with the library. I was like, wow, that is. It's not that terribly far away, but it takes time to walk there.
Yeah, it takes like maybe 10 minutes to get there,
and then 10 minutes to get back. And by that time, you've missed the next panel. I think we had that happen last year.
Yeah.
Small press. Is there a small press thing? Yeah.
Yeah, Small Press Publishing 101.
Yeah, how to start your YouTube channel.
One thing I've wanted to go to for years was a Mega 64 panel.
Right.
This year they're having their 20th anniversary. I've been fans of Mega 64 for years.
Right. You met them at their booth last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I actually had the courage to approach them. But in years past, I had seen the Mega 64 booth, but I felt too nervous to actually
engage
them.
Yeah.
And I know we've talked to professional artists who have definitely been there.
Right. Yeah.
Like too nervous to approach people you like or admire.
Well, because you don't. Yeah.
You don't want to screw it up.
Yeah.
Like that's part of it.
And if you don't talk to them, then it's a pristine experience.
Yeah.
You don't want to come off as a babbling idiot to them, and you don't want to find out that they're kind of jerky or something, which they were not. When we met them,
they were
very
really nice about
yeah.
it, and actually got pictures of them.
Yeah, they were. So I'm not trying to say they are.
Yeah.
Or that you said something.
Yeah, there's not as much on Friday, although there are some potential signings, like Dark Horse we're signing Usagi Yojimbo, Stan Sakai, The Goon with Eric Powell. First, second, we'll have Jean Luen Yang, who did Boxers and Saints, among other works.
Okay.
He did a comic adaptation of Superman Smashes the Klan.
Okay.
So it was adaptation of that radio play.
Okay. Huh.
Or radio.
Also, something from like the 40s or whatever. Oh, he did
a comic version of that.
Oh, that might be interesting.
Yeah.
I've listened to some. I listen to some classic radio sometimes on Sirius XM. They have a channel dedicated to that, and sometimes Superman. I think the best Superman was the Fleischer cartoons. Next is the radio, and then the television, and then the movies are like a distant fourth. Because it's little. I mean, he's not destroying the world, or the city's not being destroyed to defeat the same person they always have to fight in every Superman film.
Yeah.
So it's so that'd be kind of cool. I didn't know that was out.
Yeah, it's been out for a while.
There's a lot I don't know that's out there. But do you have that?
No.
Okay, we should get it.
Yeah.
You can decide it. Okay.
There's one potential signing. We don't know yet because we had to enter a drawing for it. It was Makoto Yukimura, who did Vinland Saga.
Right. We all entered that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually talked about Vinland Saga on a previous episode.
That's
of the podcast.
Right. That was a comic book club selection.
Yeah. And we liked what we read, and so that's why we entered the drawing.
Yeah. So
from what I remember, it's like you're gonna get like a free print signed, but you can also bring something else to sign as long as it is a book published by Kodansha.
Makes sense.
Some signings have restrictions like that, like you can only you're limited to a certain number of things, and they have to be things we put out.
Well, I remember last year was the Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah. And
you weren't supposed to look at Ozzy in the eye, as you walked by. So, yeah. So that should be interesting.
Yeah.
If we can pull that off.
Yeah. We entered for either day that they're going to do that because we have no idea what the schedule's going to look like.
Right.
So
and that also can change. I want to go to this panel, but I'm going to stand. I need to stand in line for this.
yeah,
They call it line con for a reason. There's always lines of people, against the walls for some booth that's across the floor.
Yeah.
And they, shepherd people over in little groups or whatever.
Yeah.
But I remember we won the lottery to be in the drawing or the signing with Ozzy, and then we had to go get a ticket before that.
Yeah.
Right. It's like a lot of steps, and your experience was just sort of like walking by.
Yeah.
Don't talk to them.
Last year when we put out a video about our experience at Comic-Con, we kind of vented about that.
Yeah. So let's not revisit that. Yeah.
Especially because we have other stuff to talk about.
Yep.
In sales, one person who's going to be there is Cliff Blazinski.
Okay.
He's going to be signing a book.
Games to comics.
But he also worked on games like Gears of War is a big one. A little known indie game called Gears of War. And other games, but Gears is probably the biggest one I can think of.
Okay.
We'll move on to Saturday.
Sure.
Right, so Saturday there's again, probably not as much as Thursday. But yeah, like Wellness for Geeks Who Sit.
Right. Okay, that was what I was thinking of.
Yeah. Success through failure in content creation.
Okay.
Which may be helpful.
Which I know a lot about.
Then we also start getting cartoon voices stuff.
Yeah, which I'm concerned might get or fewer people.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the SAG-AFTRA is with voice actors, and I don't know if they're going just to promote being a voice actor. Maybe that's okay.
Yeah, from my understanding with SAG-AFTRA's instructions or rules about what actors and voice actors are allowed to do. It's like they're not allowed to promote something specific, but they can go to Comic-Con if it's, although they still recommend against going to Comic-Con.
Right.
They are allowed to go as long as it's about just acting in general,
Right.
or voice
Or
acting.
writing in general.
Yeah, or acting, voice acting, or writing in general.
So now somebody like Jamie Lee Curtis, who's there to publicize her graphic novel and the movie that's going to be, I wonder if she can.
Yeah.
I don't know, is she in the Writers Guild? And she's in the Actors Guild, so I mean, she may not be able to. Anyway, so.
Is David Smallshin in the Actors Guild?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it probably is. Yeah.
And he's supposed to be promoting his comic.
Yeah.
So.
Which, it's unfair when you're a celebrity having a comic. You have a leg up on the whole thing.
Gerard Way has a comic.
Everybody's got a comic, it seems like. Yeah.
Keanu Reeves has a comic.
Yeah, I was thinking of that name. Yes, everybody's got one.
The guy from Cyberpunk has his own comic. Or John Wick from Fortnite has his own comic.
That's right.
I'm out of Keanu Reeves jokes.
Okay. Was he the little jumper guy in Toy Story 5 or whatever? Last one? 4 or 5. Whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, more Raina Telgemeier related stuff.
Okay.
Including a signing with her. So the last Ronin signing is at the same time as this X-Men the Animated Series 31st anniversary one, which is supposed to include Brooks Wachtel.
Oh.
So I'm a little mad, if only because of the conflict.
Right. Well, it might be good to. That's when you have to. Part of going to Comic-Con is making decisions like that.
Yeah.
Do I want to, support somebody or learn something, or do I meet somebody really cool? So you have to make those kind of decisions sometimes. And
so do I want to meet Brooks, or do I want to try to get Tom Waltz to sign my?
Or maybe somebody could go get Tom Waltz to sign it.
Maybe.
We'll see. It's all part of the dance.
Yeah.
And then
let's see. There's also preservation of comic books and collectibles.
Yes.
Because comic books also need preservation.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's supposed to be a potential Demon Slayer signing, but I don't know if that's going to happen because Bryce Papenbrook dropped out of his sales signing.
Oh.
I don't know the status of his $7 a pop signing, but
Yeah. Well, again, it depends on what they're promoting.
Yeah.
Or if they are promoting. And I would imagine some of them have contract. I mean, I don't know how it works with Comic-Con, but you might have a contract to show up.
Yeah.
And you have to honor the contract, I would think, too, potentially. Unless it's in there that if we go on strike, I can't do it.
Yeah, I really don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm just totally guessing.
I know Sean Astin, who some people know as Samwise in Lord of the Rings, is still doing his $7 a pop signing, so who knows?
We should give him sign all the DVDs of the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. There's also supposed to be an Energon Universe signing a Skybound, which is they got the Transformers and G.I. Joe licenses.
Okay, yeah.
So that's what that is.
Is that from IDW or?
Yeah, IDW used to have those, and then they lost them, and then Skybound picked them up.
Okay.
And then I guess moving on to Sunday,
which is the last day.
Yeah.
And
there's really not that much.
It's such a whirlwind experience.
Yeah.
But it's like it's over way too fast.
Yeah.
I couldn't afford it. I'd love to live in the world of Comic-Con in some ways.
Yeah.
For me, it's a real drag to come back and, where's my day job and all that kind of stuff. It's hard because I really want to live or work in that industry. I think more.
Yeah.
So it's always tough, and I've taken the Monday off to sort of kind of recover, and I usually do a blog post about writing in the week, so that's going to be my report from the front, which will come out on Monday. And then it used to be when we were looking for an artist, that would be the day I would try to follow up with people that we'd met at the Comic Book Connection thing. And
which means we still have to follow up with someone we potentially wanted as a guest on here.
Right. Yes, and we may find one of the things I'm hoping that we might find other people we'd want to have guests on as well.
Yeah.
Because we are part of what we do. This is to promote ourselves and to promote other people and their work, and there's people there that we've had on the show. Kat is going to be on the Kickstarter panel, and I think she's doing a signing.
Yeah. And
Gamal Hennessy, who we've had on the show, he's going to be there. I think like 3 panels.
Yeah.
He was just saying that if you're tired of walking, you can come in and sit down and check your phone.
He knows.
Yeah. But so there's people like that, and we've had Doug Neff on the show.
Yeah.
And he'll be there with the Comic Creator Connection. And the All-Stars, people that actually connect it, which we couldn't do. And so and Rick will be there, and Chip Mosier will be there with his distillery.
Yeah.
Should probably go by and say hi.
Yeah. So on Sunday, not that much. There's a Sonic the Hedgehog comic signing. I've been liking the IDW run for the most part. There's another Cartoon Voices panel.
We should try to at least hit one of those.
Yeah. Like the second one has Maurice LaMarche in it, and other names I recognize.
Right. And
I don't know if David Desmalchin will still do his Count Crowley.
Well, we'll find out.
Some people just might know him as Polka Dot Man from the Suicide Squad.
Which I imagine he's a SAG member.
Yeah.
So there's what happens at the convention in the hall, and then there's things outside.
Yeah.
What they call off-sites.
Yes.
And some of them are restaurants that are themed.
Yeah.
For things. So you want to talk about some of those?
Yeah. So there are a couple this time that seemed interesting. I forget the original names of the places, but one of them is theming themselves after Cluck and Bell from Grand Theft Auto. I recognize that more from San Andreas.
Okay.
And they're going to have a menu that's inspired by the game and or the game series, and they're gonna have a push-up challenge. And you can also, if you want to, you can buy the uniform.
All right. So is push-up challenge in the game? Or is that just something they're coming up with?
I think that's something they're doing.
Oh, okay.
Although in San Andreas you can't hit the gym.
Okay.
But I don't think there was a push-up challenge.
Maybe they're trying to evoke the gym experience.
And also have a funny name that I'm not going to repeat here. And there's also the Sonic Speed Cafe.
Right.
They themed it entirely after Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog themed menu items, including obviously the chili dog, which is Sonic's favorite food. And you can also, there's also like a special Sonic the Hedgehog food containers that your order will come in.
Yeah.
And they'll also sell merch.
Right. So I have a vivid memory of when they were doing the animation domination. Is that
Yeah,
what
animation domination high definition.
Right. And they had a pizza truck there.
Yeah.
And it was there all day. And you could go get free pizza.
Yeah.
It's the best thing ever. I mean, that really saved on. Well, we just walk over, and after a while, people stopped going there as much. It was still open.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really great.
We're like, come on, guys, free pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really saved us.
Yeah. So, we don't actually usually get off we like going to the gas lamp district too much.
No.
And I'm not sure. I mean, how far? I don't want to necessarily walk. I remember we went to some offsite one time that was at a phone company.
Yeah.
I forgot who was there.
Yeah.
But it was a long.
It was still a mistake.
Yeah. It was a long way to go, and you just lose all that time in between because you can't. If you don't know, you can't move your car if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Because you're out at that point.
Yeah.
It's in only. So, and it's not bad to walk. It's good to walk.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that, but it's the time, and it's probably going to be maybe hot down there in the 80s maybe.
Yeah.
So, which would be nicer than it is here. It'd be 90 and 100, but in the valley. So it should be. As I say, I love going there and being a kind of a part of that scene, even for 4 days.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward to going.
Yeah.
And there's things that we do as a family that we're not going to get into, but I look forward to those things too.
Yeah. The other offsite we were considering doing was the Dragon Ball offsite. And on preview night because it'll be less crowded.
Right. Yes.
So they have stuff like bags and stuff that we don't necessarily care about. What is more interesting though is you can get this lanyard, and if you go around the 7 activations, you get one of 7 pins, which has a character on it, but it represents one of the 7 Dragon Balls because it has a Dragon Ball on it. And then if you have all 7 on the lanyard, which is like collecting the 7 Dragon Balls, you can get a Shenron badge ribbon. So it's like collecting the 7 Dragon Balls and summoning Shenron to have a wish granted.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I always like the flavor of the.
I'm sure we'll be doing it then. And then there's some Artist Alley stuff where you can go around and hit all these. I want to say it's tables, and they have like a thing as well.
Yeah, Artist Alley is another aspect of Comic-Con.
Yes, and we do plan to hit that. There are people there that we. Again, Don Wynn's been on the show several times. We'll probably see him. Patrick
Ballesteros.
Yes, he was on the show. You may not know that. He was on the show. And I don't know who else is there. Oh, yeah.
Some other people.
Yes. So we'll be looking forward to that, too.
And then there's also, as every year, they have anime screenings. which we've done at least once. I know sometimes when we've done it, I've just fallen asleep in the seat because I was just exhausted.
Yeah, it's dark and cool, and they insist on showing the animes in the original language, which I don't speak, so and you have to read subtitles, and we kind of go, we're really tired.
So we fall into a confused
slumber. Yes. Yes, thank you, PDQ Bach. Yeah, so it's a little bit of that. But we have seen some stuff. I mean, what was that one with the girls with guns?
Upote?
We saw that there, and that was like the weirdest thing I've
Yeah.
ever seen. So we had to buy that.
Yeah.
And, we go to it's not Funimation anymore, it's Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
They have a booth, and they usually have anime there. And
Yeah.
Viz.
I remember one time the Funimation booth had to be like shut down temporarily because as someone at the booth put it, like the Funko collectors couldn't behave like adults.
And then I think the Viz booth has been overrun several times.
Yeah.
And
because they poorly handled certain things like a Kohei Horikoshi signing.
yeah, so you hope they'll have learned, but I expect it could be very similar again this year.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about with
I guess I'll just mention a couple anime that
Sure.
I'd be interested in trying to watch. Scried, because it has an element in it that's similar to like JoJo. Sherlock Hound, Tiger and Bunny, which Tiger and Bunny and Wally Wingert, we were Trevor and I recently at a Transformers convention where Wally Wingert was there, and he mentioned how much he liked working on Tiger and Bunny and how much he liked the show in general.
Right.
I think he said that was his favorite anime.
Okay.
And that was actually a show Trevor and I had been curious about watching.
Okay.
It's what we remember of the premise is that it involves sponsored superheroes.
Okay. All right.
But
Sort of like professional, but
yeah,
you wear the emblem of 7-Eleven or something.
or like Amazon.
Yeah. Like race car drivers.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
There are a few others like Welcome to Demon School, Iruma-kun.
So what have we seen there that we've followed up with?
Well, I at least remember we insisted on getting Pote.
Which is a very weird show.
Yeah, I know there were others.
Right.
I just can't remember.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. But we didn't, of course we didn't script this out. We're just talking. So yeah, no, it is interesting. And some of the stories are just very imaginative.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's a lot of times.
Oh yeah, there's also like Kill la Kill, Attack on Titan.
Right.
That we've seen at Comic-Con and then watched it after.
So one of the things that happens at Comic-Con is people dress like their favorite character, called cosplay, which I'm sure everybody's aware of.
Yeah.
And we were talking a little bit about who we might expect to see being cosplayed this year.
Yeah. Trevor brought up Chobits.
Yeah, Chobits. We watched all that.
Yeah.
Almost bought the book, but it was like this big. It was a huge book.
So anyway, with cosplay, I would expect plenty of Chainsaw Man.
Mm-hmm.
Since Trevor and I saw the first season of Chainsaw Man and the dub. We like Chainsaw Man, but it's still at the same time also like the flavor of the month. Like My Hero Academia or
So you think you'll see Chainsaw Man? You think we'll see a lot of Lloyd and Folgers and those kind of those kind of people?
We'll probably see some Spy Family.
Yeah.
And I remember one time Trevor and I actually saw people cosplaying Atlantis: The Lost Empire.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which is odd to see, but at the same time kind of welcome to see people trying something that's more cult.
And sometimes you'll see there have been people, there's always somebody dressed like a dinosaur nowadays. But sometimes there's people are on these elaborate like robot outfits and stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes they really go all out. And there's the guy that's always there as one of the characters from Silent Bob or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's always in the same spot
Yeah.
the entire comic.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever floats your boat.
Yeah.
And then I've heard that the guy that played Wolverine dressed up as Wolverine and nobody believed it was him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Well, you wouldn't expect that, would you?
yeah, and he won't be there this year for sure because of the strike. But I mean that kind of stuff happens. But I've never seen that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We used to see Conan O'Brien show up all the time.
Yeah.
Coming where it's kind of funny where special guests come at the same place they take the trash out.
Yeah.
Same. Not saying anything against Conan O'Brien, but it's just weird. Like, oh, they took the trash out. Oh, here comes Conan.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll see a couple Deadpools.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Yeah.
Deadpool's easy. You just have to buy a suit.
Yeah, and there are a lot of characters that I could not tell you who they were.
Yeah.
And sometimes they can be very obscure, or they could be mainstream, and I wouldn't know. But I'm just saying, sometimes it's like I have no idea what that person is.
Yeah.
And sometimes they mix characters together.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting to see. I was thinking I should try to do a better job of actually photographing people doing that.
Yeah.
This year, 'cause usually I don't. I just walk by. But yeah, it should be fun.
Yeah, but I would definitely expect Chainsaw Man, especially Denji or Power.
Yeah. I can
And
see
with
that.
Denji, definitely when he's the Chainsaw Man.
Yes, I'm sure there'd be a lot of people with chainsaws sticking out of them.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
I'm not sure. I think that kind of covers it.
Okay.
Comic-Con is definitely going to be, as fun as it is, it's also exhausting.
Yes.
That's something people don't think about.
It's a lot of walking.
Yes, definitely wear comfortable shoes and drink a lot of water.
And try to, the parking, you already had to pick your parking. We were lucky enough to get the convention center.
Yeah.
That cuts down on
That helps
a lot of walking.
Like, that helps immensely.
Yeah.
Especially like, hey, we need to take something out of the truck or put something in.
Yeah, we can go down, sit in the truck, and eat lunch. That's always
Yeah.
nice too, because there's no place to sit. If there's a table, people just sort of like sit there,
Yeah.
take it over all day. Okay, so next week we're not going to be doing the show, but the
Yep.
show will still go on.
Yeah.
Julia, Rachel, and Jen will all be doing a show without us, sort of a girls' draw fest.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to call it. And if you haven't seen the Julia and Rachel have done it a couple times, I think they're some of the best shows. So I encourage you to watch that. Then we'll be back the next week and have a team meeting.
Yeah.
And then the following week, the first week in August, let's talk way ahead, we're having a comic book club meeting, and we're reading Way of the
House Husband.
So hope you'll stick around and watch those as well.
Yeah.
All right. So until, you want to do the little...
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're watching this on YouTube later and you like this, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more, and leave a comment below your thoughts about Comic-Con.
Right.
Either this year or just in general.
And past, your experience at Comic-Con, share it with us.
Yeah.
All right. So until next time, I'm David Hankins.
I'm Paul Hankins.
And you've been on the air with Power Squared.